I'm going to show you almost everything you've been taught about wholesaling is actually wrong. Be a wholesaler. So many people don't understand what a wholesaler is anymore. In fact, I believe it's lost its punch, what it's supposed to be. A wholesaler is someone who specializes in marketing to motivated sellers, seeking them out in a marketing method, sitting down and talking with them, buying properties, distressed properties from motivated sellers at deep discounts and selling them the cash buyer. That is it. You're selling a contract. But somewhere along the line, somebody turned this into like Realtor 101. And I'm here to tell you, wholesaling is almost literally the complete opposite of being a realtor. In fact, I'm here to tell you, they have nothing to do with each other. Now, can you get a wholesale deal from a realtor? Yeah, every now and then. But the reality is someone's churned wholesaling training, all the courses, everything, and they've just made you a glorified realtor. And I'm going to prove it to you in this live stream. And this is what frustrates me. And I want you to learn, if you identify any of the things I'm telling you here, is once you see it, it becomes so clear and evident to you. I get it. Not everyone's got 20 years of plus experience. So I want you to use me, especially if you're brand new. The reality is you're brand new to wholesaling. You are the biggest mark in the industry. They hunt you down. Honestly, I will tell you, you are more sought after than a motivated seller. If you don't believe me, just type "teach me in wholesaling," put it in your Facebook, your Instagram, put it in YouTube. You are going to get just bombarded with ads. And here's the really cool part. Me and my son have created an entire business with zero ad spend. How can that be? How can we get hundreds of thousands of followers and not spend any money on ads? Because our product's real, it's sticky, it works. I train wholesalers how to do wholesaling. The ones that gravitate towards it, they'll be successful for life. The ones that want to do a one-pick trick pony, like all the gurus are teaching, you're never going to last. And I'm going to show you why. So listen, I'm here I really don't care what gurus say about me. I honestly, I could care less. The more they talk about me and Zach, actually, the more successful we become, because we're here to tell you the truth on how this business truly works. So it's never about being the most popular, being the most profitable. It's about who can stay in the game consistently and tell the truth. And that's what you need to understand. So first thing, you got to stop doing realtor activities. So most of the training I see built around wholesaling, it's like 90% realtor activities, calling on listings, trying to do a JV deal with like a realtor, all the stuff. It's all going to set you up for failure. But let me give you specific examples because it's very general what I have on the screen. So I figured I would do a little bit better of a deep dive for you. So one of my biggest pet peeve right off the bat, you guys are what I call over comping. You comp. I've seen people comp for days. I don't get it. I've never understood this point. The reality is I don't even bother comping until I know if I'm dealing with a motivated seller or a motivated property. And honestly, you're literally wasting your time. Put 10 properties in my lap. I'm going to have 10 conversations without ever pulling a comp. Why? Because you're wasting your time. Well, like, what's the point? The only reason you guys are pulling comps because somebody trained you to do this. And guess what? You got to put something in a course. It's got to look like it's busy work, comping and use this tool and that tool. I'm telling you guys, you don't need one piece of software to comp. When you have a motivated seller and they want to work with you and you have walked them through the qualification process, then do your comping, period. Stop wasting your time on comping. Comping should take you no more than 10 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. After 10, you are reaching and you are playing realtor world. Realtors comp for weeks, if not months. I've seen them do this. They want to get the perfect comp. Why? So their client will sign the listing. You are not listing a house. You are contracting a house for sale. Completely different worlds. List, buy. They're always separate worlds. So why would you come all the way over here and do all this realtor crap if you don't want to be a realtor? And I'm telling you, stop over comping. In fact, I don't want you to comp till you actually talk to a seller and find out if there's motivation. Because say you had to spend 10 minutes comping everything and say you had 100 leads. I know you guys, because you want complete certainty, you want to comp it right there. What if they ask me what the price is? I don't know what the comp is. I'm here to tell you, you're wasting your time. You see, a non-motivated seller will beat you up all day long on price. And you, if you're not trained like a wholesaler, trained like a realtor, you're going to sit there and go back and forth with them. And honestly, that has nothing to do with wholesaling. In fact, it's the complete opposite. It's the fastest way to drive yourself out of this business. So you need to stop doing that. The other part is, remember, we're talking about realtor traits that you have to stop. Number two, stop trying to get a yes on your offers right off the bat. Why? This is what realtors do. They cry, oh God, please accept my offer. And then here's the comps to justify my offer, but here's my offer. Please say yes. And their whole world revolves around, did they say yes to the first offer? And as a wholesaler, I'm here to tell you, you have to do the complete freaking opposite. You have to go for the no. Why? Because to get the deepest discount, if you truly want to be a wholesaler, not one of these glorified realtors that dispose properties for other wholesalers. That's an entire business model out there, but all you are is a low hanging realtor, in my opinion, without a license. And then that's why most of these companies that do dispo, they're all licensed people because they know what they're doing is they're acting like realtors. So if you're going to act like a realtor, go get a realtor's license and just be truthful who you are. Why would you ever get into wholesaling to go get your realtor's license? And by the way, there's really only one state that requires it. I don't care what anybody says. I look at statutes. I don't look at feeds on Facebook, Instagram, all this other stuff. The reality is wholesaling is 100% legal. So ask yourself, do you want to be a realtor or do you want to be a wholesaler? And make that distinction. If you do, you have to avoid going for that yes. The yes is the kiss of death in wholesaling. I'm going to show you why. Now, here's my other one. This one really is really stuck out to me in the last few years because I see a lot of it. And I blame this 100% on all the gurus out there. You ready? Stop looking for houses for sale. If you're just looking for people to sell their house, you are a bona fide realtor. End of story. See, wholesalers have to go an entire another level. I'm looking for motivation and distress on the property or the homeowner. Now, if do they have to be open to selling their house? Yes. Everybody has to be open to that to work with a wholesaler. If I want to list my house with a realtor, do they have to be open to selling it? Yes. So this question alone, if you just look for houses for sale, FSBOs, for sale by owner, Zillow, Craigslist ads, whatever, that's fine. But your volume activity is going to have to be stupid crazy. You know why? Because you're going to be talking to people that aren't motivated. And if you don't find out if there's motivation, you're literally wasting your time with these people. Guys, I never, ever taught at freewholesaling.com, just go look for houses for sale. But somehow somebody's out here teaching this crap. And I'm telling you, if you want to become a realtor, do this. This is realtor world. This is what they do for listings. We have to find some sort of motivation. Why on earth is anyone going to sell me a house fastly and super cheap? Why? Because they've got to get a benefit from it. And honestly, most people selling a house want tippy top dollar. I avoid them like the plague. So the best way to really remain a wholesaler and be a very productive wholesaler is make sure you qualify your leads, your sellers, to see if there's a sign of motivation. If you want to learn more how to do it, go over to freewholesaling.com. MCTP, this is our qualification process. It's an acronym for the questions we ask. It's all at freewholesaling.com. But guys, if you're just, oh my God, I found a guy who needs to sell his house, let me call him that, and you act shocked that they want 30% above the going rate because you looked up the comp, which I told you not to look up the comp, you're wasting your time. And I don't want you to do that. And I'm here to tell you, I never, ever, when I started out wholesaling, just hunted for people to sell their house. Now, did I listen? Did I always keep my ears open? Yes. Whenever I was at a bar, whenever I was at a friend's house, whenever I talked to network to anyone, but I was always looking for some sort of motivation. If someone goes, I just want to sell my house and I'm going to paint it up and get top dollar, I'm not even going to bother having a wholesaling discussion with them because they're not going to like it. So I want you to do the same. If you're out there and you're frustrated and you're getting no results, ask yourself, am I actually looking for motivated sellers? Or am I just looking for houses for sale? Looking for houses for sale, guys, the C's so deep in there, it's like you have to have another qualifying filter. Now, realtors just look for people who want to sell their house. Wholesalers look for people who want to sell their house and are motivated, meaning they're motivated or the property is motivated. If you skip this step, I guarantee 100% failure in wholesaling. In fact, I'd say this is one of the biggest things. Drives me nuts. And this other one's going to seem really ironic because it's complete opposite of the realtor. Stop trying to be so professional. They don't care. You could show up in a suit. You could show up in shorts. Just be presentable and be clean. And most importantly, frickin' be yourself. The last thing you ever want to see is a wholesaler show up in a suit. So let me ask you this. If gurus are so experienced in meeting with sellers and stuff, why do they show up at seminars wearing jackets and suits? Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Here's what I've heard. And by the way, I've been behind the scenes on all this stuff. And I've been told if you get on stage, you need to wear a jacket so you distinguish yourself as the hierarchy, like the person to go to. It's ridiculous. Like who thinks like that? Let me ask you, if you went to a family like dinner party, would you wear a jacket so you feel like the most important person in the room? Nothing more than ego, guys. We're going to talk about that later, but I'm just saying, stop taking yourself so seriously. Just be clean and presentable. You don't need a higher Mercedes. In fact, the more beat up your car is on the appointment you go, the better your closing ratio is going to be. Because if they think you're a regular person and you're at their level, you will get the deal much quicker than someone shows up in a super polished car, in a sports jacket, all polished and dinged out with a briefcase. Trust me, it doesn't work like that in wholesaling. So if you want to be like the realtor and the clean, polished person, you can do that. But when you go on your appointments, you're going to have to just be a simple, regular person. Now, I've even done flip-flops. I don't care. I just want to help people out. Now, I'm probably going to recommend at least wearing some sort of tennis shoe or something, but showing up in just like a collared shirt or button-up shirt, shorts, and like a pair, you're fine. And if you have to dress up to do wholesaling, you gotta ask yourself, what the hell am I doing this for? Because realtors get dressed up. Wholesalers run the show and they do what they want. But we have such a high skill set, we can demand that. But I'm just telling you, I do not overdress for wholesaling. In fact, it's my favorite part. I dressed in a monkey suit for 12 years. I never want to do that again, meaning I wear a full suit. Why? I was required. I did not have an option. It was that or get fired. And at the time, I didn't really have a lot of choices. So next one, you ready? Stop selling your sellers. Just stop it. I know everybody tells you in wholesaling, you need professional sales training. And guys, I swear to God, there's entire consultants out there that really never made it as wholesalers. That's why they're consultants. Think about it. If you're really good at wholesaling, you stay in it like me and Zach do. Period. But you know what consultants are? People that want to tell you how to do it, but they have no skin in the game. I'm not a big fan of consultants. If you're so successful, why aren't you wholesaling? I don't understand. But you're going to tell me how to wholesale? There's entire companies out there and do this. Now, they have the right to do it. But I'm here to tell you, unless you have an active wholesaling operation, how can you consult others how to do it? And it just blows me away. And every one of them, without hesitation, I have a 5-step sales training process. Run to the hills, buddy. I'm telling you right now, they are looking for people. Your sellers are looking for people to help them, not talk above them like they're some sort of corporate expert. And they always have some sort of ridiculous name and logo. They have everything else going. I'm just here to tell you guys, you need to stop selling your sellers. It doesn't work. I'm going to show you what you need to do. I promise you. But the whole sales thing, we're already looking for a very small percentage of the market. When we find them, all you have to do is help them. That's it. If you think you have to sell them like a slick car salesman and you have to hire a consultant, pay them thousands of dollars to teach your staff how to sell, you're doomed. You're done. You'll never make it. I guarantee 100% failure. Why? Because I've done all that stuff. Heck, I even bought into this years ago with a large staff, and I found out by actually helping the seller and being highly educated on the wholesaling process, that's all you really need. If you truly want to help people, you'll do very well in wholesaling. If you want some sort of fake sales pitch, go for it. The problem in wholesaling is we don't do massive volume. You're not getting 500 to 1,000 shots to close per year. At best, you're getting between 30 and 75, depending on what your level is. And you know what? You need to make every one of those deals count. How do you make them count? And dude, stop selling. Selling is trying to convince someone to take something they really don't need. In fact, my motivated sellers, they need me much more than I need them. And that's the truth. And I'm going to show you how that works. The next one, which just kills me. Ready? The 70% rule is fake, dude. It's always been fake. It's just some guru latched on this, goes, 70%. That's like me saying, I tell you what, if you see a gold bar in front of you and you can buy it 70 cents on the dollar, do it. No different here. Guys, 70 cents is a joke. Honestly, if you only bought houses for 70 cents on the dollar, you will never last in wholesaling. In fact, I'm here to tell you, I've bought them from 20% to 105%. What's the difference on all the deals? You have to put the human element. What is my degree of risk? How much effort am I putting in this? How much money do I have to put down? How fast is this deal going to go? What's the temperament of my seller? Am I assigning this deal? Am I double closing on it? And let me give you a prime example. We do this all day long. Did two today, just like this. Ready? Got it under contract for 130,000. Tried like crazy to market for 155. No bites, no bites, no bite. Okay. I had someone on contract for 133,000. I'm not happy about making $3,000, but it's that or lose the deal. So if I already have a bird in hand for 133,000, should I let the $130,000 contract go? No. But in reality, I paid 87% for the property. 87 if I go to this math. So that means 99.9% of you would have passed on this deal. I took $3,000 home, but I do it over and over again. In fact, you can reverse wholesale these deals. Say you buy say they want 100,000 for it and you're only willing to pay 95. Now, let me ask you this. Maybe you have a cash buyer, you present the deal before you put it under contract, and they'll pay you, say, they'll pay you 105 and you don't want to pay more than 95. Listen, I'm going to shop it around. I'm going to go ahead and put it under contract the lowest price. But if I already have someone that'll pay 105, I want 95, but the seller wants 100. I'm not greedy. Take the 5,000, seller wins, you win, your cash buyer wins. But if you follow this 70% rule, you can't do deals like this because you're stuck. Honestly, the percentage of deals that are closed at 70 cents on the dollar are so far and few between. If you even buy into this rule, if you get something 70 cents a dollar, call me. I'll buy it. You know why? Because it'll be crickets out there. This is your white unicorn. And you guys, you got to admit it. Like maybe back in like 1980, this worked, but it didn't even work for me when I started in 2003. So why do you think it's going to work in 2024? My favorite part is when the guru comes up with this. Okay, you buy 70 cents minus repairs, minus your wholesale fee. Do it because it's just more deals for me down the pipeline. It's ridiculous. And if you do calculations like that, you're going to get killed. Don't fall for this. Okay, my next favorite one. You ready? Stop falling for the gimmicks to circumvent wholesaling. Stop falling for the gimmicks to circumvent wholesaling. What do I mean by this? Well, think about this. If wholesalers are the master marketers, and you do have to be a very good marketing and wholesale, I never hold that back to you. And that's what I mostly teach you guys, that in negotiations. But it's only right to understand that wholesalers, when they shift over to be gurus, and a big percentage of them do because they stop wholesaling because it's just easier to flip students than it is houses, is I got a new way so you don't have to go through that wholesaling mess. Guys, dude, come on. Like they were pitching this crap in 2003 when I started. And now like I hear, listen, I don't like novations straight up. Why? I spend time with attorneys. Most of the title companies in Florida extremely frown upon them. Like they do not like them. They don't like power of attorneys. They don't like recording liens. And now in the state of Florida, to record anything in public record, not only does a notary have to be on record, the two witnesses have to give their full ID, their address, and their phone number, and they are liable on documents now. So all of a sudden, witnesses don't want to sign anything anymore. And it all has to be confirmed with the clerk of court before you can record it. Why? The onslaught of affidavits are being recorded by wholesalers because gurus teach this. Every time gurus teach these ridiculous techniques, they all get closed. And some of you depend on them. I've watched over the last really 7 years, wholesalers act like they found magic in SMS texting, ringless voicemail, cold calling for the most part. I can keep going on and on. Almost every one of those eventually gets some sort of, they push it so hard and they sell so many courses on it. They have so many seminars. And you don't believe me? Look around. They're all lost now. They don't know how to get deals because they took the quickest marketing trick they could and they wore it out. And now they're trying to like, well, what do I do now? I'm like, hey, you got to go back to old school. This is the way we did it. I love disruptive marketing. Don't get me wrong. I do love it. But I knew if enough people touched it, it would eventually be squeezed. And that's the problem we're having. A lot of you like to blame the carriers and stuff. Let's put the blame where it's due, man. The gurus went out of control with this. Listen, me and Zach even teach it. I'm not a complete hypocrite, but like I knew it had a shelf life. I have so many tools in my bags for wholesaling. And I knew it went away. I could go back to my old and tried and true, which is what we're doing, by the way, right now. But A lot of it's still holding on. They're never going to completely outlaw cold calling because politicians would be really upset about it. Texting's really being blitzed and heavy, but like I'm going to be honest with you, between skip tracing all these companies, find out how many gurus out there own their own skip tracing company. You'll be shocked. It's staggering. They're the ones charging you for all this. They're all recycling the data, selling it back to you. Hey, listen, it's the American way. You can't blame them, but if you're going to give them their money, you can't really be upset with them. I don't blame them either. I've considered it, but like, it's like, to me, it's just skip tracing is going to get to the point where it's free. And if you go to dmzack.com, it is basically free anyways. Listen, I never wanted to own a software company because I'm a wholesaler. So why would a wholesaler go own a software company? Oh, for the money. Like, I don't do stuff just for the money because it won't last. So everyone's looking to sell these types of companies. And that's why you see the price going down. It's going down and eventually be free. But for now, try dmzack.com because you can get unlimited skip tracing with your membership there. You really can't beat it. But the gimmicks, guys, I love it. They call it like 1.5 wholesaling, 2.7 wholesaling, 3.0 wholesaling. Give me a break, dude. Wholesaling's been around for hundreds of years. Somebody says, well, Novation, it's an entire course, and you got, listen, anybody can sell anything they want, but at some point, someone's got to step up and take. Why don't you just try wholesaling? It's actually easier. Everyone's like, well, novations are much more transparent. Yeah, partnering up with a distressed homeowners, like that's really transparent. Yeah, I mean, there is a time and a place for innovation. Don't get me wrong. Innovation is a substitution for a contract. How most of the innovation courses are teach, you guys are recording documents you don't understand, and you're assuming the guru is a legal expert. They're not. Number two, you're talking about power of attorneys. Most of you are recording illegal liens. And listen, if you're going to record a lien on a property in under 90 days or 6 months of the closing of the property, you're borderline committing fraud depending on how you record it. Now, if you work with a lawyer, at least you'll cover your legal basis. But all these courses, they don't teach how to work with lawyers. Don't worry, I'm the expert. I've been doing novations for a year or two. I'm the expert on it. Come on, guys. Like, wake up. Like you got, yeah. And here's my problem. I do think there is a time and a place for innovation. I do not believe it is a substitution for wholesaling. And I don't believe novations are good for brand new people starting out in real estate investing, much less wholesaling. That's my opinion. It's my right. I know there's gurus. That's all they do. If you look on any site that talks about novations, the positive spins are always the gurus, the ones, they always have a course sold, and the ones that bash it think it's like crazy. So listen, I'm open. I want to make money, but like, I'm not going to change how I fundamentally wholesale by trying this new trick in this trade. And this is the problem. You guys are seeing it over and over and over again. And if you think novations are a substitution for like wholesaling, it's crazy. Is it a trick? Is it a technique? Yes. But there's a time and a place for it. And it's not a substitution for wholesaling. And it does not belong in the beginner's hands. You need power of attorneys. You need liens recorded. You really need to dot your I's and cross your T's, because let me ask you, do you know what the percentage of failures are on novations? I know what the number is. And here's the problem. When beginner wholesalers fail at novations, they walk away from the deal and the homeowner is left with all these recorded documents. And that's called defamation of title, and you will be sued for it 100%. And you're going to be paying a lot of money, and they're going to come after you for it. And I'm telling you, I don't like doing this without an attorney. I would never, ever consider doing innovation without a licensed real estate attorney involved. Why? Because the minute you start playing with people's public record on their property, you are liable. And if you screw up the title and they can prove damages, you're responsible. So if you ever go to court and go, hey, I bought a course, this guy or gal taught me how to do it, and that way I can't be held accountable, they're going to come after you. Trust me, the guru's just going to close shop and move on. But I see it over and over. Like, you guys see these ads, I see them on Facebook's, all leads done for you. You just pay. If we close, then you pay. Like, if you believe any of this stuff, I've tried every one of them. They're all junk when it comes down to it. Most of them are failed wholesalers that didn't follow and understand how to wholesale right, and they did it the wrong way. And that's why they have these side hustle businesses. That's why people go out there and they start selling shoes, and they sell, my favorite is social media consulting. And I'm going to sell this, and I'm going to sell that. That's great. Just get out of wholesaling. Like, stop trying. You ever notice a lot of the people, the people that teach you like wholesaling, the trainers, they come in and out based on the season. Wholesaling works year round. It works in every market cycle. I've proved it over 21 years. So why would you come in and out of wholesaling? Think about that for a second. How good are you if you do that? Okay, which leads me to my next one. Gurus and coaches make more money from you than they make on real estate. It's the truth. That's why I don't sell courses. Do I have a paid course? Yeah, it's a course that you partner with me and we make money together, and me and Zach do phenomenally with it. And that's what I want to do. I try to go out there and create wholesalers that understand how to find motivated sellers, motivated properties. And then when they identify them and they learn it correctly through our course, freewholesaling.com, I think you have a huge advantage. Plus, I want to do a deal with you. So do you think I'm going to give you fluff stuff? No, I'm going to give you tough love and show you how to find great wholesaling deals. And if you do that, you can make a ton of money. But if you're not going to do that, figure it out. In fact, I have a way for you to get into my program 100% for free. Try that with any other group. They won't do it because they're going to protect their time and they're going to charge you for it. And that's how most of them come up with all their loads of money for down payments on properties and stuff like that. Guys, I see it all the time. I'm not knocking them for it, but you have to make choices with your time. Do you want the truth or do you want someone that's going to give you the tough love? Think about the first time you rode a bike. Did you read a book? Did you take a course? No, you just hopped on the boat and the bike and you figured it out. And you skinned your knee and some of you cracked your elbows and your arms like I did. But the smart ones kept going because every time you go on that bike, you learn something new. Wholesaling is absolutely no difference. Okay. Now, knowing that, I'm telling you right now, if you sign up for a 90-day wholesaling course, it will not work. You cannot pick up wholesaling in 90 days. Can you get started? Can you get something on a contract? Absolutely. If you truly want to be a successful wholesaler, you're going to have to make a year commitment on it. Sorry, it's the truth. And I love when these people tell me, oh, it's my program's evergreen. So that's a fancy marketing word for lifetime. Here's the problem. Most guru coaches, 5 to 7 year shelf life on average. Why? Because they just can't keep up with everything, and it becomes such a business. And then they have partners and they get this and that, and then people start like selling their courses, and that's why it means that like my name's on everything. I'm not going anywhere, guys. I've been around 21 years. My son's significantly younger than I am. So we're going to be in this game a long time. So like, we're not going anywhere. We're just barely getting started right now. So if you understand that, someone tells you you have an evergreen or a lifetime thing, I could rattle off 30 programs right now that 5 years ago were the dominant program in wholesaling. These people don't even exist anymore. But you bought the lifetime. Oh my God, I got lifetime access. In fact, it's hard to even access half these courses anymore because they've traded hands so many times. And honestly, the information's outdated and these people went on to do other things. They teach other people how to coach. They teach people how to do social media. Like, were you really learning from the best? In fact, there is somebody on there right now. I'm not going to mention names, but they've gone through the Amazon FBO. They've done the government programs where you get paid for employees through the whole pandemic thing. Stock trading. I'm like, dude, pick something and get really good at it. But if your only skill set is to sell people on your program, that alone is not a living. That's called a scam. I'm sorry, it's the truth. People got to stop doing this crap. And while we're on it, guys, when we're talking about wholesaling, whoever you get your wholesaling information from, make sure they talk about wholesaling. Because I watch a lot of stuff out there. I'm curious, just like the rest of you are. I see so many conversations that don't even relate to wholesaling. I'm like, I don't understand. Is this a wholesaling show? Like, is it like, what is it? I mean, for years, people are talking about crypto and all this other stuff. I don't like, wow, I'm confused. And I hear people talking about their cars and their fancy watches. And I'm like, dude, you want to have that stuff? That's great. But why do I have to hear about it every day? The more you accent the things in your life, meaning like the superficial materialistic stuff, like catch on, guys. Why? Almost every person that overshines their assets outside of real estate, of course, there's a reason they're doing it. Ask yourself, why do they keep doing this? Why do they keep doing a series on how flashy their car is, how beautiful their watch collection is? Guys, I appreciate all that stuff, but like, I'm not going to help you if I show you that stuff. Let me ask you, if I show you my fancy car, is that going to make you better wholesaler? No, it's stupid. My car is so basic. I don't waste. I'd rather buy a piece of real estate than a fancy car. It doesn't mean I don't like fancy cars. It's just like I'm at that age, like cars are just numb to me. I just want a clean car that gets me to point A to point B. I just don't care. I don't care if it's a Chevy, if it's a Ford, if it's a Tesla, if it's a Hyundai, who gives a crap, right? And honestly, when you start out, you should be paying cash for a car that gets you to point A, point B. I don't care if it has AC or heat or not, because that's what I did. I owned a car for 15 years because you got to make sacrifices the life where you get, which leads us to the next one. Guys, there's absolutely zero secrets in wholesaling. Anyone who tells you, I'm going to share a secret with you, run. There's no more secrets. Me and Zach's made sure of that. I have ripped this thing apart. And honestly, I know I've destroyed more wholesaling programs out there. The problem with it, they were never programs. They were sales pitches to milk you out of your money, to give you some BS course. And then once you got in the course, you looked at it, you wanted your refund right away. But you felt so guilty and so stupid, you just sucked it up. And you know that's the truth, guys. You know that's the truth because I've seen it time and time again. You ever bought something and you go, God, after you bought it, like, oh my God, this is what it is. I feel so stupid. And that's what a lot of these wholesaling courses are out there right now. And that's why you see it. So anyone starts out, I have a secret I'm going to share with you, run. And here's the biggest trend you're going to see in wholesaling. Why not sell your wholesale deals for retail? Guys, the higher you go up in price, the more crap you have to put up with. And if you're going to accomplish that without being a licensed realtor, all that stuff, it's going to be a huge challenge. And you're going to have to sign complicated paperwork. And this paperwork, if you don't actually own the house and close on it, you're going to get yourself in massive trouble. I see it going all the day. People are trying to show you how to sell wholesale deals for retail. Why don't we just teach realtors to become wholesalers and just sell a course on that? Or why don't we teach wholesalers to become realtors? Oh, that's right. That's what gurus do anyways. So drives me nuts. So let's talk about what works. Everything I've given you is all the crap that you have learned wrong in wholesaling, especially in the last 5 to 7 years. In fact, we are to the point where some of the basic wholesaling courses on TikTok are just go throw everything on a contract, leave the smallest deposit possible, and see if you can find a sucker to pay more than you did. That's not wholesaling, guys. That's called fraud. And if you do it, God bless you because you're going to need it because you're going to get in trouble real quick. And I don't condone that. Honestly, if you don't have any money, you're just getting started, you have to figure out what the options you need to get in wholesaling. Maybe you just need to start out bird dogging. Maybe you need a JV. Maybe you just need a good cash partner. Maybe you need a JV with me and Zach on sellmypaper.com. But for God's sakes, be responsible for what you do when you go out there. Don't just go out there recklessly, especially somebody off of TikTok. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy TikTok, but like to try to learn like wholesaling or buy a course on a 7 to 12 second pitch. And I'm telling you, like you need more than 90 days. You're going to need more than 7 to 12 seconds. I can tell you that. So number one, real quick, you have to do the work. There's no substitution for hard work in wholesaling. There's absolutely nothing. Honestly, if you do the hard work, it's much easier and quicker than trying to take every scam course that tries to navigate around wholesaling. My favorite pitch is, why do you want to compete with wholesalers? Why? Because wholesalers win. Wholesalers, they know how to have the highest skill set in wholesaling. You want to be the guy who pays the most for a property? Go be a realtor. Listen, I love creative financing, but there is a time and a place for it. In my opinion, creative financing is not a beginner's option. Why do I believe that? There's so much scrutiny coming down on creative financing right now. And the reason is it's getting in the hands of people that have never done it. They don't understand it. They took a course in it. And you know what? I applaud them for taking action to learn it. But guys, it took me years to understand creative financing. And I get it. I know you think you can take a course and suck it up in 8 to 12 weeks. But the reality is you would probably be better off partnering with someone to like get that deal done. And I'm okay with you do that. But the reality is creative financing, there is a lot of scrutiny on it. And so there's been a lot of people been scammed on it. And so the problem is when you do a subject to and you sell it and get an assignment fee, someone down the road stops paying on that mortgage. Who do you think they're going to come after? Whoever did the transaction first. In fact, you just wind up hurting sellers when you do that. So there's a right way to do it. Once again, this comes in the realm. I don't believe creative financing is suited for a beginner. Why? Because even if you have the greatest guru or the most accomplished person in the world doing it, you're only going to get bits and pieces of what they learn. And if you do something wrong, you're going to be in trouble because I guarantee that person who taught you did not start out to be an expert. They had somebody help them. Make sure you have a financial backing partner when you do it. And make sure if you're going to sell a subject to, you are using a third-party escrow company to make the payments. So you did your due diligence before that property got transferred. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's going to be illegal to do a subject to wholesale deal, meaning you assign it and do it like that, because there's people having massive problems all over the country. And it's perfectly timed with all the hype and all the attention on creative financing. This is why all these problems are come up, because you have inexperienced people. I believe they started out with the right intentions. They just skipped a lot of the process and they just wanted to make money quick. And just like in wholesaling, just like creative financing, you're going to have some bad apples out there and they're going to ruin it for all of us. So I'm not a big fan of anything that skirts wholesaling, but you got to do the work. Next one is you got to stop lying to yourself. If you don't want to be a wholesaler, like, tell yourself the truth, but don't call yourself a wholesaler and do all these other things. Guys, there's tons of courses out there just on Dispo where you go out and find a wholesaler and you tell them they're going to sell their deal. That's not wholesaling. It's called being a realtor. Go get your realtor's license. You'll make more money doing that. Don't waste your time doing that. I'm sorry. It's the truth. Next one, for you to stop lying to yourself, you actually have to be accountable for everything you do. So everything changed in wholesaling. One day, I just realized the excuses were getting me nowhere. At the end of the day, no one's going to save me, and I'm going to have to take massive action to get what I want. Now, the action was so far from perfect. It's disgusting. But just like a ball, once it gets rolling, it gets momentum, and you get momentum, you can get a lot of things done. But if you don't lie to yourself and go, okay, I kind of suck at wholesaling. No, I don't suck. I don't I'm not good at wholesaling because I don't understand it. And you're honest and you go out and find a trusting source that will teach you. And most importantly, give you the truth of what's going on in wholesaling. It is not the easiest thing in the world to do. And it's not for everyone. And if it was, it wouldn't be very profitable. But the few that can suck it up and market their butts off and are fearless in having conversational sellers, man, the sky's the limit for whatever you want to do in your life. Find me anyone who's wildly successful in wholesaling. For the most part, they can do anything they want in the real estate space. Now, go find a realtor who's massively successful in like listing real estate. They're terrible at flipping properties. They definitely would never get wholesaling. They're never going to figure out creative financing. See, a wholesaler is most open to it. Why? Because they're the absolute best marketers in the business, because that is your lifeblood, is that. So once you're accountable, the whole thing is you just don't lie to yourself anymore. So a lot of you like you're completely fine lying to your family, lying to your friends, but the worst person you can lie to is yourself. Because once you lie to yourself, you can't count on yourself. And if you can't count on yourself, you're never going to be successful in this business. So once you go, hey, if I'm going to go and make 200 cold calls a day, I'm just going to do it every day. I don't care if it takes 7 days a week. And don't let yourself off the hook. And yeah, I know you guys already have tough conversations with yourself. You guys beat yourselves up more than anybody. I'm no different. It's the same thing. But the difference is if you tell you something, unless there's a physical limitation, which there's very few physical limitations in wholesaling other than using your voice, the only reason you don't do it is because you make an excuse to yourself. And to do that, you have to lie to yourself, and you got to stop doing that. So remember what I said about not selling your sellers? You actually have to become a guide. Because once we find someone that needs to sell a property, as long as you don't screw it up and say the right things and guide them down the path and help them, you should have no issues getting these deals. We don't do thousands of transactions a year. We don't have that luxury like realtors do. So when we do get a motivated seller, we have to make it count to the best of our ability. In fact, I'm here to tell you, ready? Help the seller help themselves. Most of the time when I'm dealing with a seller, they've got such a mess on their hands. My job is to help the seller get out of their own way. And honestly, whoever helps the seller the most gets the deal in wholesaling. End of story. Did you hear me? I didn't say a realtor didn't like that. And the only way you can do that, ready for this? You can't sit there and like be this greasy. Hey, listen, I'm so sorry you feel that way, Mr. Seller. I can emphasize, I can empathize with you, but I looked at the comps and there's no way I can pay you. I never get in a comp argument with a seller. I always focus on what they need and what they need to do to accomplish it to get to the place they want to go. And your job's like a guide. Now, you're not a guide in a forest. Remember, if you ever do like a guide in like Venice, Italy, sometimes I got these headsets. What's the guide's job? 9 times out of 10, they could spit whatever they want out of their mouth. Are they engaging? Do they engage their audience? And do they make sure they have a clear understanding of the message they're trying to communicate? That's the job of a guide. I've been on so many, I'm not a big fan of guided tours, but I've been on a guided tour. The guy just rambles on his headset, never makes eye contact, never talks to anyone. And then I've been on a tour where a guy just goes so far out of his way to show you like the best croissants in Italy, and like it's just amazing. You just want to throw money at the guy at the end. Like this is an amazing experience. And that's what you gotta portray with your sellers. If you sit there and constantly try to sell them on your services, you're not being authentic. And authentic is the new currency in real estate. I've always believed in this. The more truer you are to yourself, the easier it is to be. You feel better, you connect with your sellers better, and there's an energy that's created. And if you don't believe me, go into a car dealership and go try to buy a car. It's just constant tension the entire time. It's not fun. That's why they call it a sales process. What we do is we basically invited somebody on our boat and we're going to guide them down the river. Now, some are going to jump off the river. In fact, some might even drown. Like the ones that are drowning are the ones that should have never been in the boat to begin with. You always got to make sure you're in the right boat. And that's the whole point of this conversation. You're in a wholesaling boat. The realtor boat's over there. It's the big giant cruise ship that's 6,000 people. My wholesaler boat, it's small, but there's plenty of room for you to be in it. But you're going to have to grab those oars and you're going to have to rip and row for your life. The realtors, they all have two big diesel engines, big giant generator, all covered. It seems so nice, but they're never going to make it. Most aren't going to make it. Most realtors never make it. Wholesalers, you're out in the element. There's no AC. We are rowing and we are fighting up. We are fighting upriver. In the beginning, you have to get upriver. Once you get upriver, get some deals in your boat, I'll show you how to put an engine on it and really scale your business. You got to understand that. So knowing that, the next one you guys already know, lose your ego. If your ego drives everything you do, you can't get anything you want in life. You can't learn, you don't listen. And if you're constantly talking, you will fail miserably in wholesaling because the number one skill set is actually listening and then using that information to process a solution for your sellers. If you can figure that part out, you can make a ton of money in this business. Okay, I am wrapping up, I promise here. The last one, you just got to outwork everybody. This was my mom. I'm just going to outwork. I had at least 50 wholesalers I worked in my local market in Port St. Lucie when I started out. I think there's 2 left, by the way, just to let you know the survival rate in this business. It's just the truth. Nobody wants to work. If you have the mentality you will outwork anyone, you never have to worry about this. Now, a good comparison, if you ever want to understand how to outwork someone, check out some Will Smith videos. And I'm not talking about him slapping somebody, but like, dude, that guy outworks a lot of people. And he talks about he's willing to outwork. And he does one example where he goes, listen, if 2 guys get on a treadmill, 2 gals, guys, whatever, he goes, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either I'm going to outlast you or I'm going to die trying to do it. And that's Will Smith's mantra. Now, I know he's had recent problems, but like you can't knock the guy's success. But that's his mantra. He goes, if I get on a treadmill next to you, I'm either going to outlast you or I'm going to die trying. And that's the mentality it requires wholesaling. I don't know how else to envision it for you, but it is the absolute truth in what we do. So last one here, you ready? I got one more after that. You have to do go for no. So if realtors teach you to go for yes, you have to use the go for no. If you want to learn more how to do that, go over to freewholesaling.com because I want to know when I put my offer out there. Why? Because I want the lowest possible number. So I have to get a counter reaction. If you use go for no, it's going to what? It's going to make you wildly uncomfortable. And most of you are scared to do it. Step up. If you really want to be successful in this business, you have to understand the power of no. So many of you have been trained your entire life to get a yes. You're horrified to go for the no. That's shocking. That's like disrespectful. No, it's not. If you build rapport and build a relationship, you have to come in at the lowest number so you can get a counter from your seller. Guys, I found this out the hard way. I lost contract after contract, overpaid for properties. And once I decided, hell, I have no idea what prices in my seller's head. So let's just go way low. And then they'll tell me what their number is without me asking for the lowest price. And then I'll find somewhere where it works, or we'll find somewhere where it works. That's the whole premise behind going for no. 21 years of my experience, I'm giving you a gift, my friend. I'm telling you, it absolutely works. I've demonstrated it over and over. I've had tens of thousands of testimonials of people who've actually used it. But the main reason why people don't want to use the go for no, right there, they don't want to be uncomfortable. And I'm summing this up with this. If you can learn to be uncomfortable in wholesaling, doing things you're not used to doing, and you can stay there, okay? Guys, it's no different in grief. If you've ever had to go through grief, I've gone through some massive grief in the last year. I won't get into details, but massive grief. Some of the closest people in my life. It is hard. And I went back to the stoicism like Marcus Aurelius. You know what he says? He says you can either avoid grief or you can conquer it. And how you conquer it, you actually have to be in it. It's not going to go away. And the more you kind of sit in it, it's not fun, but you can understand the feeling of what needs to be done. And that's the same thing as uncomfortability. So many of you guys get so uncomfortable, either it's cold calling, meeting with sellers, doing whatever you need to do. And the minute you get uncomfortable, you're looking to get out of it and you're going to go back to your safe place. And I've done this. I'm not a hypocrite. I struggled like I got stuck on this for 6 months in my wholesaling career. I'm telling you, when you're uncomfortable, that's when the biggest growth in your life comes. You do not grow when everything's perfect. In fact, you go backwards. Listen, the guy or gal that loses 150 pounds, they won when they started the fight when they were at their peak weight. That's it. Do you understand? They won the battle when they committed and said, I'm all in. I can't live like this anymore. This is where I want to be. Wholesaling is no different. If you're broke, you're down and out on your luck. You're struggling financially. You have no time. You hate your boss. Now's the time to grow. Now's the time to do wholesaling the right, because you're going to get massively uncomfortable. I'm just going to warn you about it. You're going to get all sweaty. Your pits are going to perspire. It's just not going to feel good. But tell me anything in life that you've done that did not require a sacrifice. And somewhere in the last 7 years in wholesaling, we have decided to tell everyone wholesaling is the easiest thing I've ever done. I sit here, I do this, and I'm perfect. Here's my perfect life. Here's my perfect car. It's all BS, guys. You're being lied to almost about everything in wholesaling. And now most people don't even want to talk about wholesaling because they want to give you all these gimmicks on using realtors and all this stuff. You can do it. It is not for beginners. It's not for the faint of heart. Guys, learn to be uncomfortable, because once you get uncomfortable, you get there, you're constantly going to be pushed to be uncomfortable, because that's how life is. Because if you want to be comfortable, just go sit on your couch, get super fat, eat your chips, watch your crap shows. And I'm going to tell you what, life will be comfortable for, I couldn't do that for 10 minutes, but you're going to get so unhealthy. You're going to make no money and you're going to be so behind. You're going to get so comfortable and you're going to turn so uncomfortable. You're going to have to be massively uncomfortable to fix the problem. So why wait till you get to that point? Take the steps now. If you're not happy where you are, make it. At 33, I decided to make a massive change in my life. But I waited 12 years. So basically, I was the guy sitting on the couch eating the chips, doing all that crap. I wasn't the slimmest guy either. I was about 65 pounds heavier than I am now, because I got lazy, I got complacent, and I just conformed to the matrix. And once you understand the matrix is there to program you and keep you complacent, you have to fight and break out of it. I believe wholesaling is the greatest way to fix that for you, but you're going to have to make that decision for yourself. So guys, I just shared almost literally every tip I possibly can on this.